once again and welcome to this, the 99th episode of Lisburn Distillery TV.
Good news is that this week we have exclusive highlights from not just one, but the last two games featuring Lisburn Distillery. So without further ado, let's see what's coming up on this week's show.
First up, we have exclusive highlights from Lisburn Distillery's game away to Annagh United that was played at Shamrock Park last Tuesday night.
We then review the Whites' last match, which saw them make the journey to take on Tobermore United.
And finally, we'll be looking ahead to our next game, which takes place here at New Grosvenor this Saturday. Kicking off today's show, let's look back to Tuesday the 12th of February when Lisburn Distillery travelled to Shamrock Park in Portadown to take on Annagh United.
This was always going to be one of Distillery's hardest games of the season, and with Annagh going into this game knowing that victory would see them move to the top of the table, that made the task ahead even harder.
Let's see how the game panned out.
Annagh went into this game against Lisburn Distillery knowing that a victory would see them going top of the Premier Intermediate League table. However, it was the Whites who started the brighter, and they were lucky not to score when this fine effort from Nick Beta was tipped over by the Annagh goalkeeper Shane McPartlin. Distillery continued to hold the upper hand in the early stages of the game and eventually got their reward when in 15 minutes they were awarded a penalty following this effort by Stuart Moore being deflected wide by the hand of an Annagh defender. Up stepped midfielder James Wright, and he made no mistake planting the ball into the bottom corner of the Annagh goal. 1-0 to Distillery. Annagh then had a chance to equalise, however on this occasion Craig Taylor wasn't able to stretch far enough to get a decent contact on the ball. Distillery then had a glorious chance in 39 minutes to make it 2-0 when Annagh United captain Michael Galt was adjudged to have handled the ball in the penalty area, and the referee had no hesitation in pointing to the penalty spot. As before, up stepped midfielder James Wright to take the penalty, but on this occasion he was less fortunate, hitting the crossbar before the ball eventually went to safety. Annagh then were reduced to 10 men as skipper Michael Galt was sent off for a second yellow card following this tackle on White's midfielder Johnny McCaw. With 10 man Annagh United now seeking hard for the equaliser in the second half, gaps appeared at the back, and Distillery really should have done better on each of these occasions when they were sent clean through. However, Annagh goalkeeper Shane McPartlin made some great stops to keep the score at 1-0 to Distillery. Distillery did ride their luck at times, especially with this effort which skimmed across the goal line, no Annagh United player able to get a final touch to divert it into the net. The Whites, however, continued to battle, and in 90 minutes they eventually got their second goal. Darragh Rooney broke through, and as the keeper advanced, he drilled it past him into the corner of the net. A great finish. Of course, being Distillery, it wouldn't be the Whites without a late panic, and then as we moved into injury time, Annagh pulled the goal back from a corner kick which was flicked home by John Hugh Pritchard. 2-1 to Distillery with seconds to play. Eventually, after a few nervous moments, the final whistle was sounded and Lisburn Distillery had secured a superb victory 2-1 away to Annagh United.
So it's a great win, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Boys played really, really well in the day. Everybody, I can't fault anybody in the team. There was a change of formation. There were players who didn't normally play in the positions they were playing in, but to the man, they played absolutely brilliant, and I came away absolutely buzzing, I must admit, with the performance.
Do you think it was their best performance of the season?
I would say so. Yeah, to be honest with you, I did come away thinking we haven't played any better this season. I mean, we're up against a top class side, Annagh United. You could see why they were sort of near the top of the league from their performance. We just sort of constantly cancelled them out, took the chances when they came along, and just stood up, to be honest, and absolutely delighted with the result.
Brilliant. And Dara Rooney, 2 goals in 2 games from...
Yeah, that's right. One against Annagh and then one the game before that. So he certainly hit the ground running, and that's what you obviously need from a striker, to be able to find the back of the net. His pace has proven very, very successful so far, so long may it continue.
Brilliant.
So anyway, after that great win at Annagh, it was then off to Fort William Park in Tobermore to take on another one of the league's top sides. Optimism was high that we could get a result at Tobermore, so let's see how the game went. Here's highlights on that one. Distillery went into this game away to Tobermore full of confidence following a fine victory only a few days previously against Annagh United. However, this confidence was almost dented immediately from the kick-off when Aaron Mullen struck the post for Tobermore United. 3 fought back and were unlucky on 9 minutes when a great through ball from Dara Rooney found Johnny McCaw in space, but his effort was well parried wide by homekeeper Lucas Petnars. The deadlock was eventually broken on 18 minutes when a fine through ball from Peter Duffin beat the Distillery offside trap, allowing Gary Keane to drill home from close distance. "36 minutes had passed when Gary Keane picked up the ball in his own half before being allowed to run the entire length of the pitch and eventually drilling it past White's goalkeeper Jonah Nicholl. Certainly a goal Distillery will want to forget. Second half saw Distillery start a little bit brighter. However, they must have known their luck was out when this gentle effort from Timmy Clark grazed the crossbar before going to safety. The game was up for Distillery as early as the 50th minute when Kieran Curran dispossessed Timmy Clark before passing the ball into Gary Keane, and he had an absolutely superb strike to complete his hat-trick. 80 minutes, the score went from bad to worse for Lisburn Distillery, as with the Whites pushing forward, Tobermore exposed the gaps at the back, and the substitute, number 12, Shay Dunlop, was able to convert from close range to make it 4-0. Full-time scoreline from Fort William Park, Tobermore United 4, Lisburn Distillery 0.
So Colin, what went wrong?
I really don't know. That's been honest. I mean, the four days previous, as we've just seen, played their best game of the season. Saturday, I have to say, for me anyway, it was their worst game of the season. I thought we were absolutely terrible. I don't think anybody involved with the club, whether it's the supporter, manager, player, will sort of say, no, we played well, because we didn't. We were just absolutely shocking on the day. Created very, very little, conceded some very, very bad goals, and it was just like chalk and cheese from sort of the Tuesday night. Unfortunately, the one thing that wins leagues is consistency, and it's the moment we just don't seem to have it. We just don't seem to know from week to week what we're going to produce. When we do play well, we're a great side. When we play badly, we're not a good side. It's as simple as that.
And do you think they'll bounce back this Saturday at Port Stewart?
Well, hard game against Port Stewart. We'll always get difficult matches. We'll have home advantage in this one, but they're always very, very tight matches against Port Stewart, so fingers crossed. I mean, I don't think we can play any worse than last Saturday, so fingers crossed we do find that bit of bounce back ability and take the 3 points from it. Anyhow, that game against Port Stewart, if you want to come down and support the club, is this Saturday. That's Saturday the 23rd of February here at New Grosvenor. It's a 3 o'clock PM kick-off, and as usual, we'd love to have your support for Distillery here on the day.
And that completes this week's episode of Lisburn Distillery TV. A week that has seen the team very much experience the highs and lows of the beautiful game.
Thanks so much for watching today's show, and here's hoping that our 100th episode next week will give us something to celebrate on the pitch, following our game versus Port Stewart. Until the next time,
come on the Whites!
Bye for now.